Welcome to Please Me, the award-winning bilingual podcast bringing you bold conversations and big clit energy. Sí, Please Me se puede ver con subtítulos en español. I'm Eve, your host, on a journey from trauma to sexual liberation. Join me and my guests as we dive into conversations around orgasm equality, self-love, body positivity, and essential sexual education. Let's reclaim pleasure and close the orgasm gap, one empowering conversation at a time. Last week, I spoke with reality star from MILF Manor, Lynette West. She shared the tea on her experience on MILF Manor Season 2, her struggles with addiction, and her views on sexuality and sexual expression. This episode is an expose on Lynette's life and a must listen. I'm beyond thrilled and deeply honored to be nominated for 2 ASN awards. The categories are Best Educator and Best Educator Website, so be sure to check out my website and see all the great educational resources there, including my favorite products I use myself for optimal health, as well as my beautifully curated sex toy store. You can vote daily, so check the show notes to cast your vote and help me bring these wins home. I'm so grateful to every one of you. Thank you for your support. Did you know that podcasts rely on listener support to keep bringing you the content you love? For the best way to support the show, join me on Patreon for ad-free listening, early releases, bonus episodes, and exclusive content. Please Me is for mature audiences. Sit back, relax, and surrender to the pleasure of Please Me.
There's so many other really bad words I'm thinking right now, but that is essentially, it would be alleged abuse. We, as a lifestyle, don't do that. We are all about consent. And if people who are thinking you could be on the receiving end of someone hating you, yeah, but you asked for that. You know that these are things that you have negotiated. You are able to walk away at any time. You can choose what is happening to your body.
ASN Lifestyle Magazine is your go-to source for sex-positive, sophisticated content, covering everything from the swinger lifestyle and adult entertainment to intimacy, wellness, and more. You can read every digital issue for free, and subscribers get access to exclusive content. See the show notes for the link to subscribe and check out their Instagram. I'm excited to share that I now have a monthly column in ASN called Big Clit Energy, a Please Me series. Don't miss it and subscribe today.
Imagine this. The best pasta sauce you have ever tasted sits abandoned on a plate. Wasted sauce. That is a tragedy. If only you had used Barilla al Bronzo pasta. Its bronze-cut texture holds your sauce and scoops up every last drop. The Italians call that scarpetta. Capture sauce the Italian way. Barilla al Bronzo. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
Meta AI is the personal AI that's tailored to you, now with its very own app. It's built to get to know you, offering helpful answers and inspiration. Looking for something to add to your bucket list? Meta AI goes beyond traveling the world. It remembers you're a basketball fanatic and suggests you attend one of the playoff games. Just start typing or speaking to get the answers you need, wherever and whenever, because Meta AI is your personal AI. Download the Meta AI app, now available on the Apple App Store and Google Play.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
We off? 30 seconds of carefree bliss.
Oof, like wind in your hair carefree.
Oh, like using Clorox Disinfecting All-Purpose Cleaner in the home carefree.
Yes.
Like dog slobbing on the coffee table and cleaning it with Clorox Carefree.
He's on a roll now.
Spit toothpaste on the faucet.
You got it. You got it.
Peanut butter on the light switch.
Oh, spritz, spritz.
Spritz, spritz. Clorox, man. Clean feels good.
Okay, we're back.
Use as directed.
Hey, Ryan, that was a fast trip. It was like you teleported.
Yeah, just got in. I'll get all my expenses logged, I promise.
Oh, no, you're okay. SAP Concur uses advanced AI, so your expense report will practically write itself. Quite the breakthrough. It's like we've been teleported into the future.
All right.
So, just curious, Would you give us written permission to convert your matter into energy patterns and reassemble you at, say, random travel destinations?
Margaret, are you building a teleporter?
No. Yes.
SAP Concur helps your business move forward faster. Learn more at concur.com.
Hello, and welcome to Please Me, the podcast that aims to destigmatize conversations about sex and sexual health by turning the sheets into our classroom. Today, I'm so excited to welcome back Lexi Sylver to the show. This is her third time being on the show, and she is our resident expert on all things lifestyle related. Today, I want to discuss the difference between freak-offs and lifestyle parties, and I think that Lexi is the absolute perfect person to have on here because she is the SDC Media Director. She is also an author and writer, and she is an internationally accredited coach that specializes in the ethically non-monogamous lifestyle, the swingers lifestyle, and she talks about sex, relationships, etc. She helps newbies enter the lifestyle successfully, and she is also the creator of Swinger 101, which is an educational platform about all things swinging. And so with all of that being said, I would like to welcome you to the show, Lexi, and you can correct anything that I missed.
Oh, it was Swinging 101, not Swinger 101, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. Swinging 101, which, you know, like I said, she helps newbies enter the lifestyle successfully, which I think is such a great help to have a coach holding your hand through that transition, because it can be a very challenging transition moving from, say, a monogamous mindset to an ethically non-monogamous mindset, wouldn't you say?
Oh my God, 100%. 100%. My inbox is never empty, let's say. So thank you so much for having me back, Eve.
Of course. I'm excited to have this conversation with you today. I've been following the Diddy trial here and there. I can't say that I'm like completely engulfed in it, but what has disturbed me from the very beginning is the idea or the concept that Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs, was an actual swinger and his parties were actually lifestyle parties. And I just absolutely can't stand them trying to call his parties lifestyle parties, because everything that I'm reading about, everything that I'm hearing about is completely the antithesis of a lifestyle party. And so I want to break it down with you today. Do you have anything to say about that so far?
I'm with you. I'm following, but not really following all the details of what's going on in the trial. But from what has been alleged so far, there's a lot of really massively illegal, problematic, unethical, horrible things that are being alleged that are, it's very hard to take in. I can't even imagine how the people who were involved, who were on the receiving end of that abuse, have been coping with that. That is just horrifying to hear, and is so not like what an ethical lifestyle sex party would be like. It is so different. So hearing that too, it's like it's abuse being disguised as lifestyle, but it isn't. What I like in the lifestyle, we are not about abuse. Everything is consent, communication, consent. It's just so wildly different. So I am so happy that you're doing a show like this. It's super important. And I'm really happy that I'm here to talk about it. Not happy that we're talking about it and that it happened to have something to talk about in this way. But I think it's really important that people understand the differences between swinging and what is being called the lifestyle as a blanket term, to really continue to make the lifestyle seem seedy and wrong and bad when it isn't. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So one of the things that they say that freak-offs typically have is drugs. Like as soon as you get in, that they're feeding you drinks that may have drugs inside of them, allegedly, right? Or they have cocaine and all sorts of other drugs. It's not just like the typical party drugs, right? Not ecstasy, but then there's all of these other things that they're allegedly saying were part of his sex parties. And many victims report that they were actually drugged. They drank something and then they couldn't stand afterwards, or they were very distressed afterwards. How does that differ in that respect in terms of like drug use, alcohol use, etc., from a lifestyle party?
In the lifestyle, and when I say lifestyle, just for those of you who are listening who are not quote in the lifestyle, this is a blanket term that we use for consensual non-monogamy, or AKA ethical non-monogamy. And swinging is a type of consensual non-monogamy. There's a whole spectrum of different kinds and different labels and categorizations. I just want to be clear when I'm saying the lifestyle, it could be swinging, there are lots of different types of open relationships and open ways of being that fall under lifestyle. Abuse is not one of those. Okay. So let me just throw that out there. So the consensual / ethical part of non-monogamy that we practice safely, healthfully, legally, is to make sure that all participants are able to consent. And when you are intoxicated, you are not able to consent. So that is a huge no-no for us, like whether you're planning a party or going to one. Now, look, that's not to say that people don't take their own drugs occasionally when they're going out. There are, I'm sure, people who do that. I personally do not. I also advise to people to stay as sober as possible because it's intoxicating enough of an experience when you go to a party like this. It really is, like, on a level complete, like it's just, and it's so important to be clear-headed when you're making decisions regarding your body and other people's bodies. It's really crucial. So if you're intoxicated, you can't consent. So you're not going to a sex party and getting roofied at the door. You're not like it doesn't work that way. Alcohol might be present, but it very much discouraged to be intoxicated. If you're drunk, people are not going to play with you or should not be playing with you. It's a known thing. I also feel lifestylers at these sex parties, we take care of each other. So if we notice that someone is struggling or someone is not okay, we take care of each other. We are a community of people who do that. And that is so wildly different from these other parties where there are people who are having things done to them. They're without consent. There are drugs involved. It's so different. It's just not anything like what we see at our parties where we do take care of each other. We're watching out for each other. We want everyone to have a good time. We want everyone to be able to consent. So that is a huge difference, not to mention illegal, but I mean, throwing that out there. But yeah, it's really crucial to have a clear head.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am so glad that you brought that up because I know that in previous episodes when we've talked about alcohol use and consent, it's really discouraged to get overly tipsy or drunk at a lifestyle party or take too much of a good thing, taking drugs so that you're not able to consent. You have to have a clear mind in order to have consensual sex. And so I love that you say that people take care of each other. And also there's usually security that is not helping someone to coerce someone else to do something. They are helping the people that are at the party to make sure that they are having a good time, etc. Do you want to just speak on that as well?
Yeah, for sure. And there are different kinds of parties, right? Let's talk more like private parties versus a party in a sex club, which is a public location. So let's call it a house party where there's like a private event, maybe, I don't know, 40 people, 50 people. We've all heard of or been to parties like this. Sometimes there are people, usually there is at least one or two or three. There are dedicated people who are there. They're not there to play. They are there exclusively to stay sober and to go walk around and make sure everyone is, as you said, having a good time, making sure everybody is able to consent. There's nobody like who is looking like they can't stand up straight, like you said, or looking like they're maybe having not a good time or that someone's boundaries are being violated. And because the people at the party know that these people are going around making sure, everyone feels more comfortable. Everyone is more able to just enjoy themselves. I think it's really having, especially as a woman, having that security, that knowledge that there are people there who are acting in my best interest, making sure I am safe. Not me personally, they're not my personal bodyguards, but myself and other people who are there. It is really important. So they're watching out for any kind of boundary violation. Also, at these parties, usually at someone's house, they're not huge events. So you typically know the guests who are involved. typically there's a vetting process in terms of even who is on the guest list. You know who is going to be there, what they look like, you know who they're bringing. Most of these parties are very like tight knit, where sometimes there's an application process. Sometimes you have to send in your STI and NCD results so that people know what your sexual health status is before you go to these events. It's very, how should I say this? We're like organizers of lifestyle events are very careful to make sure not only is everyone having a good time, but that they're doing it safely. And so there's so much attention being paid to people's safety and their ability to consent. People, sometimes they have like different colored bracelets talking about things that they want to do, but they're just there to watch. They want to play. They're bi, whatever different kinks or different ways that organizers want to label it. And even at that, consent is still important and mandatory every step of the way, even if you have a bracelet or identifier saying that you're into something or not. These are things that are absolutely prioritized above all else at these parties. So that is in stark contrast from the things that we're hearing emerge from this trial. Just to start.
Just to start. And one of the things that I heard as well was that these parties were supposedly lifestyle, like swinger parties, and that everything goes or anything goes. And I just want you to speak to that, because there's so many boundaries around each person's particular consent in a situation like that. So I just want to speak to that.
Oh, yeah. And I hear this all the time, usually from people who are not lifestylers, who think like being in an open relationship or being in the open lifestyle means you're down for anything. You're like just open for any kind of play, anytime, from anyone. We know this is not the case. Okay.
Absolutely not. No.
It's not the case. Everyone's different. There's some people in the lifestyle who are in the lifestyle because they're voyeurs and they like to also, and they're exhibitionists, but they don't necessarily even play with other people. They just want to be watched while they're having sex. They want to watch other people having sex, and that's it. Everybody is different. Every couple, every individual who is coming into the lifestyle is different. Everyone, and even at that, what I want on a Sunday could be different than what I want on a Thursday, and from whom and when and why and how comfortable I am. Even if like you're going to an open lifestyle party, any kind of lifestyle party, there is no anything goes. Everybody has boundaries. And even people who are like anything goes, there are still boundaries within that. You still need to ask for consent every single time. It's not optional. And when you go even to like a sex club, when you go to these parties, you usually have to sign an agreement saying you understand all of these things. There are signs that talk about consent. It is just an absolutely mandatory thing, because even if you're like, I'm up for anything, that doesn't mean you were actually up for anything. You need to ask every time, make no assumptions that the people who are there are interested in playing with you at all. That's one big thing, but also interested in doing whatever it is that you want to do. Everyone is there to also experience pleasure. We're not there to serve others.
Exactly. You're there for your own purposes, and whatever those purposes are, whether it be being a voyeur, being an exhibitionist, or participating with other people. But again, communication and consent are the foundations of a relationship or a lifestyle like this. And so that brings me to something else that was alleged in this trial, which was that Diddy was threatening people's careers, their jobs, or he would have sex videos that were taken unbeknownst to the people that were in the videos. And he was using that to coerce them to not say anything or to do things that he wanted them to do. And so again, the question is, how does this compare to a lifestyle party?
I'm just flabbergasted by how deep these allegations go and the levels. It's horrible to hear.
And so illegal. So this is like absolutely illegal things that he's doing.
Yeah.
And
just crazy. So not to mention illegal. Yes. It also takes away consent from the people who are involved, we are a lifestyle based on discretion. We are a lifestyle who is very much like we respect each other's desire for and right to privacy. A lot of people who are in the lifestyle don't even use their real names. Some people who are on dating sites don't even show their faces. Privacy and secrecy are absolutely paramount. And because we all care about each other, and some people have jobs where even, their nighttime activities could be judged negatively and they could be seen in a negative light because unfortunately not the entire world is not open about sex. But anyways, that said, so privacy is a huge thing. Also, we would never, people that I know, at least in the lifestyle who are holding these parties, would never consider recording anything with or without anyone's consent. It's just not something that's done. People sometimes have their phones taken away from them at the door because of how important privacy and discretion are. If you're at a sex club, often you're asked to leave your phone in your locker, if there's a locker there, or keep it in your purse and not take it out. They have security and people, like we mentioned before, walking around, making sure that everyone is feeling that they can be safe and able to express themselves, which you can't do when you're being filmed or that you fear that you are going to be recorded. So that is a huge difference, not to mention, as we said, illegal, but it's a very important thing. We respect each other's need and for privacy, desire for privacy, right to privacy. We don't consider doing things like that. It's really fundamental. It almost is one of those things you shouldn't need to say anything because that's how entrenched the need for discretion is in our lifestyle. It's really crazy to think that. And it's not, again, we talked about this, right? It's not, you can't disguise this abusive, alleged situation that reoccurred multiple times. You can't say this is a lifestyle thing. There is no consent anywhere. There is just abuse at every single level of this. And but for people who have never heard of the lifestyle or really understood anything about it, who see swinging and open relationships as seedy and everyone's just dirty or whatever, it's really horrible to hear this. And then we as a lifestyle get judged as a result of what people who don't know better are hearing coming out of this. So I just really hope our lifestyle is not villainized or vilified rather as a result of this. But anyway, I'm carrying on here.
Now, and this is exactly what I'm going for with this episode. I think it's just so important to draw the distinction because everything that I hear about P. Diddy and this trial and what allegedly happened during these parties is completely the antithesis of what an ethically non-monogamous and keyword being ethical, right, lifestyle is all about. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you, Lexi. And another thing that was alleged in this trial is that he used his power and his fame often to allegedly victimize his singers or his employees because he was threatening to either fire them from their jobs or to not help them in their career advancement if they were singers. And so he was really taking advantage of these people. And it wasn't always just women, it was also men that worked for him, etc. And so again, the power dynamic is something that he used to his benefit to be able to coerce or abuse these people. And I want to just talk about the power dynamic in the lifestyle and in the ethically non-monogamous world. And we can talk about anything from submissive and dominance to just general, however you want to answer the question.
Sure. So when I'm talking about the open lifestyle, we have a lot of intersections with the kink community. So I when we're talking about power dynamics, I'll throw that in there. Why not? Why not? Typically in the kink community, a lot of people with maybe even just a basic understanding of what kink is or what BDSM is, that usually there is a dominant and someone else is submissive. Typically, this is the case. There is that power dynamic. Meanwhile, the person who is in the submissive position, so the person who is usually the one who has something being done to them, whether it's flogging or spanking or whatever the case is, being, let's say, used consensually, willingly, as basically like a sex object, as a toy almost, okay, in a willing way, in a good way, okay, consensually, with boundaries that are pre-agreed upon before the scene, between the submissive and the dominant, where there is still the option of the submissive being able to say no, stop, and to ask for whatever they want, softer, harder, whatever. There is so much communication that goes on in a kink scene. And also similarly to, like I said, like in other sex parties and stuff too, there is so much negotiation that goes on in terms of boundaries, in terms of talking during the experience itself. Because even if you pre-agree upon something, in the moment, you might say no, you might just, and you can stop at any time. That even with that power dynamic, the scene can stop at any time. Just because you're in a submissive position and you have willingly, consensually given your power to someone else who you trust to do the things to you that you pre-agreed upon that you want, you can still stop at any time. Same at a sex party. In the lifestyle, you can stop at any time. And I highly recommend for people, I talk about this a lot in my Swinging 101 series and like in my coaching, if you're a couple or whoever and you feel uncomfortable at any point in time, even if there are other people involved and you're having sex, you don't want to be like the party pooper or whatever, just stop. You are allowed to do that. However, at these alleged freak-offs, the people who were having things being done to them or the things they were being forced into doing, they were not able to say no. They were not able to stop. They had no control over what was happening to them. And people who say, oh, they could have left, they could have, again, victim blaming stuff. These are allegations. I'm speaking generally. The point being is that the people who were involved in these alleged freak-offs had no control or say over what was happening. And they were being blackmailed essentially into continuing to allow the abuse to happen. It's just abuse. There's really no other way to describe it. There's so many other really bad words I'm thinking right now, but that is essentially, it would be alleged abuse. We as a lifestyle don't do that. We are all about consent. And if people who are thinking you could be on the receiving end of someone hating you, yeah, but you asked for that. You know that these are things that you have negotiated. You are able to walk away at any time. You can choose what is happening to your body. And that is a massive difference from what we are hearing alleged at the trial.
Yes. And I'm glad that you made that very clear distinction. And even in BDSM relationships, like you said, everything is predetermined ahead of time, what's going to be done, what's not going to be done. There's safe words to make sure that you can stop it at any moment. And the submissive actually has a lot more control because they're the ones who say continue or stop, right? And so the power dynamic, even though supposedly the dominant is doing things to the submissive, also has a lot of control in the situation as well, because at any moment they can stop or they can change the direction. And so I love that you brought that up. And in general as well, consent is just absolutely necessary in any kind of ethically non-monogamous party or experience. And so that brings me to something else that was alleged, that Diddy would also crawl back into an area where someone was maybe being taken advantage of or having sex with someone without them knowing that he was watching, right? And he would allegedly masturbate to watching, say, a sex worker with a woman that he drugged possibly. And again, all alleged, right? But these are the things that are coming up in the trial, right? And so the victim was unaware that he was watching them. And again, another issue, right? And so I just want you to speak on this as well too.
Whether it's someone in a room without you knowing that they're there, or being recorded without your knowledge, or being put in these situations where you don't know what's going to happen, none of this is legal or consensual. And this really shows more the differences between the two, right? What we're hearing, these types of parties that are being alleged that we're hearing at Diddy's trial. We're also hearing, and in a lifestyle perspective, even if you're going to just watch someone have sex, you usually ask them, is it okay if I watch? And then so everyone is aware of what's going on. Everyone who's participating can say no. It is having that option, having that ability to say no, to determine what makes you feel safe. All of those things are absent completely from any of these freak-off parties that are being alleged. And all of these details that are emerging are further just showing the differences between what the lifestyle is really all about. Consent, ethics. In a way, we're like hippies with the free love, but that is all about love. It's based in love for each other and a sense of community and wanting everyone to feel good and safe and happy. Those types of like hippie, if you will, ideal. So if you want to compare it to that, nothing like what we're hearing from these allegations of abuse where the participants or victims were not able to leave or say no or determine anything. They didn't feel they were able to stop the abuse because their lives would be ruined. When people when people, abusers, prey on people who are vulnerable and in positions where they can't say no, and then use that to their advantage, that is an absolute characteristic of an abuser. So should these allegations be true, that is definitely the category that falls under.
Absolutely.
And again, illegal, throwing that out there, if true. So
if true. Yeah. This case has sexual assault written all over it, amongst so many other things. And very disempowering to the people that participated in these freak-offs, which I think is like the incomplete opposite of the ethically non-monogamous community, which I think is very empowering. Do you want to speak on that a little bit?
Yeah.
So especially, before I say anything else, especially the role that a woman plays in the ethically non-monogamous world. And can we talk on that a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Just speaking from my own personal experiences when it comes to the lifestyle in a positive way. Being in the lifestyle, the first thing that I really realized was how empowered I was, how empowered I felt to just be my free, shameless sexual self. And this community created the perfect conditions for women to thrive. We really completely drive this lifestyle. Completely. It is very women-centric. And the reason for that, and the reason for most of these things too, with these different parties in terms of safety and consent and having people walking around, making sure that everybody is having a good time. A lot of these things are done to protect us and to make us feel comfortable and safe. And I think it's really important to continue doing that. Being a very sexual person myself, this is no secret. It's part of who I am. This has been for a lifelong journey of Lexploration, as I like to say. Being in the lifestyle has enabled me to do that in a safe way on my terms. So that is a massive difference from the things that we're hearing being alleged. And it's the people who really have power in this lifestyle, I'm not just saying it's women. It's really about, how should I say this, being able to do whatever I want, let's say, in a sexy setting, but knowing that it's all going to be done according to what I feel comfortable with. That nothing that I feel secure physically, I feel like my physical security is not threatened. Being naked in a sex club is a very vulnerable position to be in. You're giving a lot of trust that people are not going to just come and touch you without your consent. So there's a lot that goes into it. But the lifestyle empowers women to the point that we can feel comfortable doing these things. We feel safe. We're a community. We protect each other from all the parties that I've gone to. I've never gone to a party so far, or a club, where I didn't see evidence of the community supporting each other and really helping each other and empowering each other to be our best, freest, most shameless selves. Being able to feel safe is the starting off point for being able to explore. And it was an absolute must for me in terms of my exploration to be able to have that security. So I know there are lots of other women who feel that way. But yeah, we're celebrated in the lifestyle for being sexual. And in these freak-off parties, these freak-offs, allegedly what's happening is that we're hearing basically just not just that there's abuse, but also the shame that seems to be I'm thinking in French. The victims, okay, are, at least some of them from what we're hearing, are being shamed too. So it's very different from what we experience in the lifestyle, what we do for each other and how we support each other.
I love that you brought that up about the shame, because yes, if you are allegedly saying that you're going to release a sex tape that a person is on and ruin their good name, and the shame that comes with that, I think is something to be brought up, because really sex should be a shame-free zone, right? And it's a beautiful thing. It can be a very spiritual thing that can elevate a couple and connect them in ways that nothing else really can. And so I love that you brought that up, because really sexuality should really be shame-free. And the way that this is allegedly being put out there is that he was shaming people for participating in these parties and threatening them to release these tapes, etc. And so that brings us, I should say, to the role play of the show.
Missing out on family time because of all the noise? Enjoy the moment without straining to keep up with the conversation.
Wow, what a beautiful sunset.
Discover Nuance Audio, the new invisible hearing solution that's built into your glasses. Discreet, comfortable, and easy to use. Nuance Audio glasses help you hear better and reduce background noise, so you can get back to enjoying time with your loved ones. Find a store near you at nuanceaudio.com.
Hey guys, I found the only gift that Dad wants this Father's Day. Goldbelly. Goldbelly ships the most iconic foods from the best restaurants across the country straight to his door for free. Let him relax and enjoy award-winning barbecue from Texas, epic deep dish pizza from Chicago, or colossal pastrami sandwiches from New York. Make Dad feel like an absolute legend this Father's Day and go to goldbelly.com to get 20% off your first order with promo code DAD. That's goldbelly.com, code DAD.
Every idea starts with a problem. Warby Parker's was simple. Glasses are too expensive. So they set out to change that. By designing glasses in-house and selling directly to customers, they're able to offer prescription eyewear that's expertly crafted and unexpectedly affordable. Warby Parker glasses are made from premium materials like impact-resistant polycarbonate and custom acetate. And they start at just $95, including prescription lenses. Get glasses made from the good stuff. Stop by a Warby Parker store near you.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
This episode is brought to you by Hulu, presenting Paradise. Paradise is Hulu's critically acclaimed addictive drama series, starring Sterling K. Brown, Julianne Nicholson, and James Marsden. The Daily Beast calls Paradise your next TV obsession, and the New York Times says it's exhilarating in all the right ways. Paradise is for your Emmy consideration in all categories, including Outstanding Drama Series. For more information, visit fyc.hulu.com.
And so I'm excited to do this role play with you. We decided that we were going to be two people that met at a sex party, and we want to have some fun together, right? And so we are going to be talking about negotiating consent, etc. So with that being said, that is who we are, and that's it. Let's do it. Action.
Restarting from that nice to meet you. I like your dress.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I've had this for quite a while, but it's a really comfy one and pretty sassy too.
I really like your style.
Thank you. Thank you. I like what you're wearing as well. Tell me, have you been here before?
I've been here a couple of times, but it's always nice to see some new faces, and especially when they look like yours.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. I definitely am finding myself drawn to you as well. And I'm wondering if maybe later you wouldn't mind meeting me in the back room. Or you have any interest in that?
Oh, the back room. I'd be very interested in that. I would definitely be comfortable playing. Just, do you know what your sexual health status is?
Actually, yes, I do. And I was tested within the last 3 months, and I have that information on my phone. If you'd like for me to share it with you, I can certainly do that.
I'd love that. I have mine on my phone too, and I got tested 2 weeks ago, and I've had only one partner since.
Okay, so great information. Thank you for sharing that. And I too will say that I'm very particular about fluid swapping, so I prefer not to do any fluid swapping, but I have lots and lots of lubes and lots of sexy things that we can use so that we don't need to do that.
Ooh, I like that. I also brought my own toys. So maybe there's something in there that we can play with. Are there any specific barrier methods or any type of protection that you want to use? Dental dams, gloves?
Yes. And I actually have something that I created myself that's even better than a dental dam, and I will certainly be able to share that with you. But it is a barrier for oral, if that would be something that you would be open to.
I would be very open to that. I think that's definitely the limit of where I'd be comfortable going tonight. Yeah. You want to go in the back and see what's going on? Maybe find a nice space for ourselves?
That sounds like a great idea. And scene.
Hot? You're very nice.
Yeah, in like 5 sentences, we're hooking up. It doesn't usually happen that quickly, but hey.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't usually happen.
For the purposes of the show, we fast forwarded several hours.
Just like notable there. I just love how, and like usually there's like much more padding with the conversation, talking about your status and also knowing your own status, also asking how many partners you've had since your last test, or wait, these are all things that, like, for people who are hearing this for the first time, oh my God, you would talk about this? Yes, because we want to assess what our potential risks are when it comes to sex. Everything is a risk, right? So are you comfortable with that or not? And that's a huge key. It is important for us to talk about our sexual health status because we also want to make sure we can consent. If someone is not disclosing their status and they are capable of passing something along, that is also illegal, I believe. I don't know how it works in the States, but
it is.
Also, that's not consensual. I didn't consent to playing with you if you are able to transmit something to me actively, right? Or if you're on antibiotics still for an infection that you had, whatever the case may be, that is part of the consent as well, is I am consenting to playing with you under these terms. These are all unwritten contracts. They're verbal agreements, right? And it's important to do. Negotiating like what we just did about what kind of ways we're going to protect ourselves. These are really, and like what we're comfortable with. These are all negotiations that are absolutely happening all the time at these lifestyle events. So it's really, really crucial. These are things that are absent in terms of conversation at these alleged freak-offs.
Right. On in a lot of regular hookups or.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that really the general population can learn a lot from this episode, and it wouldn't be crazy or unexpected for you to say, how many partners have you had since your last testing? And I would have answered honestly, because you want the other person to feel comfortable and safe so that you can have the best time that you can have.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's all about the consent and continued empowerment and support of our community. And you're right, you don't hear it as often for Tinder hookups. I definitely, these are things that we talk about a lot more in the lifestyle that we're more used to talking about, I think, than in the mainstream
Yes.
for non-lifestyle community.
And I know that like my audience is really all over the place. It's not just lifestyle. My show is about sexual health. And so I have lots of people that have nothing to do with the lifestyle. And so for people out there listening that are not in the lifestyle, having these conversations should be part of your regular exploration when you're entering into a new relationship or even just hooking up with somebody, that you meet. So thank you for doing that role play with me. That was so much fun. And I want to make sure that my listeners can find you. Where can we find you, Lexi?
Ooh, you can find me in everything related to my coaching, Swinging 101, everything at LexiSylver.com. That's Lexi with an I, Silver with a Y.com. Yeah. Find me there, connect with me. And I talk about all kinds of different topics related to open relationships this is just such a great topic. I am so glad that you're covering this. It is really crucial. So thank you for doing this and inviting me to talk about it. I appreciate that.
Of course. You were the first person that I thought of when I decided that I wanted to do this. Lexi, thank you so much. This is the third time she's been on the show, and I love me some Lexi Sylver. And I want to make sure that you can find me as well. You can find me on FazeMe.online. And my shows are there. Lots of my webinars are there. And I have a very sexy toy store. Also have lots of affiliates of different products that I actually use myself. So check out my site. It's actually up as an ASN award for Best Educator website, as is Lexi's website as well. Lexi is also up for 2 ASN awards. One is for Best Educator, and one is also for Best Educator website. And anything else, Lexi? Because I know that those are the 2 categories that I'm in as well, but I don't know if you're in other ones.
Yeah, I think I'm also nominated for Best Erotic Writer. So
Best Erotic Writer. Yeah. So make sure that after you listen to the show that you check out the show notes and you go to ASN Awards and you vote for both of us. And yes, definitely. We need to be like 1 and 2 up there. Vote for both of us for those categories. And so with that being said, Lexi, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show and talking about this really important topic today.
Thank you so much for having me back. Always a pleasure to be on your show.
It was a pleasure, wasn't it? Until next time, are you looking for a sexy date? Look no further than SDC.com. SDC.com is the premier ethically non-monogamous website that is worldwide. It also hosts a wealth of information on sexuality and sexual health, and I host a free live webinar monthly on the site. You can use code 37340 for a free trial membership on me, and be sure to reach out on the site and say hello.